Hey, it's a Range Ronin. Imagine, if you will, two friends, Jack in his mid-40s and an experienced shooter, and Mike in his late 20s and newer to firearms, are sitting at a table in a local coffee shop. The two friends, after not seeing each other for quite some time, are catching up with each other's lives. Eventually, Mike lets Jack know that he is considering a firearm, one that is chambered in .380 automatic, and is now asking Jack his opinion. Let's take a minute or two and listen in on the conversation.
So you're saying this little .380 is actually decent for self-defense? It's tiny compared to my cousin's 9mm. Tiny to not trivial. The .380 Auto is about balancing power with portability. I'm thinking about carrying something discreet under my jacket, but doesn't this thing pack less punch than a 9mm? True, the .380 has less muzzle energy than a 9mm, but it's not that far off. The real win here is the recoil. Lighter bang, less felt kick. That means faster follow-up shots and less flinching. So it's easier to shoot accurately? But what about stopping power? I've heard stories where a .380 didn't do the job in a real fight. Caliber isn't the whole story, it's about training. A .380, when placed well, center mass, especially in close quarters, can be just as effective as bigger rounds. The key is using quality ammo. Hollow points expand reliably in this caliber, which helps with stopping power without overpenetration. What about the guns? I've seen these snub-nosed revolvers, but this looks like a regular pistol. Yeah, it's different. I'll explain.
Right.
Modern .380 pistols are off compact semi-autos like the Glock 42 or Kimber Micro 9. They're lightweight, easy to conceal, and have safety features like magazine safeties. Revolvers are still used too, like the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard .380, but they hold fewer rounds. That's why practice matters.
Mike also points out to Jack that the pistol he is considering also fits in his coat pocket better than his cousin's 9mm. Jack also agrees and points out that for daily carry, consistency is king, but emphasizes that practice is a key factor.
If you're comfortable shooting it, it's better than a 9mm you never draw because it's too bulky. Just make sure you're using the right ammo. Never practice with the same hollow points you'd use in a defense situation. The .380 is not the biggest, but it's reliable, affordable to practice with, and proven in real-world scenarios. Got it! So you're saying if I train with this, it's a solid choice? Yes, absolutely. Guess I've got a trip to the range coming up. To accuracy, not just caliber. And to not being caught empty-handed. That was good. Right? I knew you'd get a kick out of it.
And so the discussion ends, with only the next question being, there are so many fine examples these days, but may I make one suggestion? One pistol that has been a want in the bucket list ever since I first came across it has evaded me for one reason or another. It remained on my desired list even after it was discontinued, maybe even more so. Sometimes it appears as a police trade-in, but it is getting rarer. But I found a licensed reproduction for a good price and decided to purchase it. Hey, it's the Range Ronin. Stay tuned, and I'll bring you out of the dark and into the light by telling you all about it. The Beretta 84 Cheetah, a 380 auto pistol that was produced from 1976 to 2017, graced my hands many years ago and just as quickly slipped away as I could not afford it at the time. After producing a review of my Tisas P45, I became more interested in their line of products. While perusing their website, I saw that they had a 380 auto pistol, but paid it no mind, as I have reviewed a number of 380 auto pistols. It was later, when I revisited their website, that I finally realized what that 380 auto pistol was: a licensed reproduction of the Beretta Model 84, a pistol that is no longer manufactured, but is somewhat available on the surplus market. The Tisas Fatih 380 just might satisfy my longing for a Beretta 84 style pistol, and so the search began. It wasn't until much later that I ran across the Tisas Fatih 380 in my favorite pawn shop, brand new and at a reasonable price. A faithful reproduction of the Beretta 84 fell into my hands. This time, it did not slip away. So, let me introduce you to the Tisas Fatih 380. To begin an overview of the features, as mentioned, the Fatih 380 design is based on the iconic Beretta 84-85 series. The Fatih 380 is of forged and machined components with no MIM parts. It is a double-action, single-action pistol, a feature that I will talk about later. It has a frame-mounted safety that works for both double-action and single-action modes, and which is ambidextrous to accommodate both left and right-handed operators. It has a 2-dot straight-8 sighting system that I'll touch on in a bit. The slide and frame have a Cerakote finish. This model came with plastic grips, although laser-textured walnut grips are released on some models. The Fatih comes with a 1-year warranty and lifetime service plan. Now, on to more detail regarding the features. The Tisas Fatih 380, as mentioned, is a double-action, single-action pistol, where the first shot can be fired double-action. Pulling the trigger brings the hammer back and then lets it fall, and subsequent shots are fired single-action. The cycling slide cocks the hammer, but you will note that the bilateral thumb safety at the rear of the frame, up for safe and down for fire, which reveals a red dot on the slide. This safety allows you, if you so desire, to carry this pistol in condition 1, cocked and locked, the hammer cocked, safety engaged, and a live round chambered, so every shot is fired single action. The safety has very positive clicks up and down. Perfect. However, the safety lever can be cantankerous when trying to get it in the up safe position. For me, I simply use the thumb of my left support hand to push it into the safe position. Because there is no decocker, and if you want to fire that first shot, or any shot, double action, the hammer is lowered manually, firmly holding onto the hammer preferably between the thumb and forefinger, and pointed it in a safe direction before pulling the trigger and easing the hammer forward. The Fatih, as mentioned, is a near clone of the Beretta 84. In design, this pistol looks like a shrunken version of the 9mm Beretta 92. But while that pistol is big, too big for many people, this pistol is quite handy. It shares the same open-top slide design and is eminently reliable. Compared to the sights on the older Beretta, the sights on the Fatih are objectively better. Front sight is a post with a white dot and has been dovetailed into the slide. With the original Beretta 84, the front sight is machined all of one piece with the slide, and the dot is smaller, almost tiny. The rear sight on the Fatih has a single white dot with a generous notch, which provides a proverbial straight 8 sighting system, and which is bigger and better than the old school small notch on the Beretta 84. The Beretta 92 has a high bore, but because the Fatih uses a straight blowback recoil system, the barrel sits lower, and the bore on this pistol is very low, helping to keep muzzle rise down. At the rear of the slide, you'll see an angled, narrow, flat-bottom serrations. They work, but I find I almost never use mine. I work the slide from the front. No forward serrations? No problem. I pinch the front of the slide just behind the muzzle, where it narrows and forms a natural pinch point, and cycle the slide that way, and it seems to work great. Because this pistol uses a straight blowback operating system, the recoil and hammer springs are what controls the recoil forces. As a result, the slide can be a bit difficult to cycle if the hammer is down, but it's not all that bad if the hammer is cocked. The stainless steel barrel has an integral ramp, and it has been nicely polished. The barrel, frame, and slide have been given a matte black Cerakote finish, which is very businesslike. The full-length guide rod is stainless steel. At the rear of the frame, you will see a modest beaver tail, which will help prevent slide bite. The front and rear part of the frame sports vertical serrations, which helps keep your hand in place. I can't help but wish they were checkered, but the old Beretta frames were serrated, not checkered. The magazine release is steel, a serrated button that doesn't protrude as far as the grip panels, so there's no danger of accidentally dislodging a magazine. The slide stop is left side only and is easily reached with the shooting hand thumb, if you are right-handed. If you are left-handed, it may take an overhand approach to release the slide. However, the slide stop has sufficient enough material to make that happen easily. The disassembly lever of the Tisas Fatih 380 differs from that found on the Beretta 92 M9 models, in that it is located on the right side rather than the left side. The disassembly lever button, like that of the Beretta 92 M9 pistols, is located on the right side, and a simple push inward releases the lever for disassembly purposes. I'll talk about that later in the presentation. Originally, Tisas USA was offering two versions of the Fatih, one with slightly smaller sights and black plastic grips, like this one. They now only offer this one with Turkish walnut grips. The grips look good, and they feel great in the hand, with fine texturing, but they're not thin, and they give the gun almost a rounded feel in the hand. It feels quite fat, especially for a 380. Personally, I prefer wood grips, and I am searching for such. Magazines are supplied with the pistol, and 2 magazines are provided, and which are made by Mekgar. Mekgar is the king of OEM pistol magazines, and they know their business. There are 3 unmarked index holes in the side of the magazine for 5, 10, and 13 rounds. Double-action, single-action Beretta and Beretta pattern pistols historically have a very smooth trigger pull, whether heavy or light. The double action trigger pull of the Fatih was smooth as well, with a total pull weight of 8 3/4 pounds. For the single action pull, there was a bit of take-up, then a smooth rolling break. Total pull weight, 4 pounds. All of this is more than acceptable in a compact, subcompact pistol meant for concealed carry. The trigger itself is curved steel with a serrated face. At the bottom of the aluminum frame, you will find the opening for the magazine well, which is just barely large enough to accommodate the magazine. Empty magazines drop free, but that tight mag well opening will slow the reload just a bit. Magazines are, however, sloped at the top to make insertion easier. With the magazine installed, a very nice lip at the bottom of the magazine keeps the little finger of the shooting hand in place for a solid grip on the gun, especially when the support hand is assisting. Well, that about covers the features, so let me talk about maintaining the Tisas Fatih 380. Disassembling the Tisas Fatih 380 is as straightforward as with Beretta 92 M9 pistols, and begins with the safety check. Point the barrel in a safe direction and remove the magazine by pressing the magazine release button. Empty the chamber, or confirm that it is already empty by retracting and locking the slide back. For disassembly, slowly release the slide until it is fully into battery. Push the disassembly button on the right side of the pistol and rotate the takedown lever 90 degrees counterclockwise. The barrel will unlock. Separate the slide from the frame. A word of caution: the recoil spring is under pressure. Keep your hand on the recoil spring during the removal. Then, remove the recoil spring and guide rod. Remove the barrel. Since everyone has their own way of cleaning, inspecting, and lubricating firearms, I am not going to go over those things. I am simply going to recommend following the instructions set forth in the manual, of which I have included a link in the description. To assemble the pistol, begin by putting the barrel in its place within the slide. Place the recoil spring guide in its place. Put the slide on the frame and make sure that the barrel is in its place by pushing on the end of the barrel. Push the disassembly button on the right side of the pistol and rotate the takedown lever 90 degrees clockwise. Move the slide back and forth to ensure that it operates freely. If there is any difficulty, disassemble and repeat the procedure. Note that if you do remove the grips, use appropriate tools for grip screws and do not damage the screws. Do not over-tighten screws, or they may be broken or damaged, or the grip mounting holes may strip. It is always important, after performing maintenance, to perform a function check to ensure proper functioning. I use a couple of snap caps in a magazine to check for chambering, extraction, ejection, magazine locking back on the last round, and also to protect the firing pin and firing pin stop from damage. To begin the function check, lock the slide back. Insert a magazine loaded with several snap caps. Close the slide and chamber the first snap cap. Pistol is now in single action mode. Press the thumb safety to the up safe position, covering the red dot. Pull the trigger. The trigger will free float and the hammer should not drop. Push the thumb safety to the down fire position. Pull the trigger. The hammer should drop. The pistol is now in double action mode. Push the thumb safety to the up safe position. Pull the trigger. The trigger should free float and the hammer should not cock. Push the thumb safety to the down fire position. Pull the trigger. The hammer should cock and then release when the trigger has completed its travel. Pull the trigger slightly to the rear and release. The hammer should move to the rear and settle into a staged position in the safety notch. Pull the trigger fully to the rear. The hammer should cock and then release when the trigger has completed its travel. Completely cycle the slide one time. The chambered snap cap should be extracted and ejected. Repeat until the last snap cap is extracted and ejected. The slide should lock back on the empty magazine. Remove the magazine. Push or pull the slide fully to the rear. While maintaining pressure on the slide, allow the slide to move slowly forward in small increments while pulling the trigger at each increment. The hammer should not fall until the slide is fully into battery. This checks the disconnector operation. The function check is now complete, and if everything passed muster, the Tisas Fatih 380 is ready for normal operation. And that's where I'm heading, right now. The Tisas Fatih 380 is a large frame pistol for the cartridge that it fires, the 380 auto. But by being large and of all metal construction, shooting it is a pleasure. At the range, you will see the value in a 380 that actually has a bit of weight to it and fills your hand. The straight blowback operating system gives you a recoil impulse with a bit of a snap, but the Fatih is fun to shoot and won't have you hating life after a box of ammunition. Between the size, weight, low bore, and good trigger, you can actually run the gun hard and fast. There is a big difference in recoil between various 380 auto loads, and you have to decide what your comfort level is with your carry load. There are dozens of 380 ACP loads on the market, which offer amazing performance. My two favorite 380 ACP loads are polar opposites. Federal's 99 grain HST Micro is a heavy 4 caliber traditional jacketed hollow point and built to expand at 380 velocities. At the opposite end of the spectrum is Black Hills Ammunition 60 grain Honey Badger. This copper solid bullet is not designed to expand. Rather, the flutes shove the tissue out of the way as it penetrates. It will do every bit of the 1,150 feet per second advertised claim, while having noticeably less recoil than a standard 380 load. Now, let's pick up on the shooting.
Alright, here's the Tisas Fatih 380. We're shooting some PMC bronze 90 grain FMJ. Let's see how it is. Start with the safety on. First cold bore shot. I like that. Hold that one. Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's go for the head. Really low. What's going on? Hard to see that front sight. Do not lock back. Through those two headshots, low left. Can't figure that one out. Front side, it's hard to see. The single 8 stack. Put one dot on top of the other. But let's run it. Let's try a double action. You can pull that hammer back to the safety notch and carry it that way. Let's see how she does. Back that time. Not bad. Double action triggers feels pretty good. About 9 rounds per magazine. I'll take that back. We'll run 12 rounds. Fire's doing pretty good. Brand new magazines, brand new gun. Failure to lock back on the last round. That is not a total failure. Just to shoot, see what we have. All right, round 2. Shooting a little bit to the right, that could be me. Lock back that time. Then one more magazine. Then 5 rounds, close it out. There we go. Not bad overall. Didn't lock back again. Last 5. Yeah, we do. And lock back. I'd say not bad. Had 3 low left. Otherwise, pretty good grouping for the first time out with the Tisas Fatih 380.
Any holster that will work with the Beretta 80 series will work with the Tisas Fatih 380, and there are many in the marketplace. Do your research for the type of holster that fits your carry needs. For me, I prefer either shoulder or cross-draw carry. A shoulder holster system from Craft Holsters for the Beretta 84 Cheetah would be perfect. For a cross-draw or behind-the-hip IWB carry, the Craft Beretta 84 Cheetah leather IWB airflow holster would be ideal, as it allows for various holster cants. The Craft Wolverine and OWB cross-draw holster for the Beretta 84 would also be ideal. With the Tisas Fatih 380 being a double-action, single-action pistol, it can be carried in three conditions. Condition 1, cocked and locked. Condition 2, hammered down, resting on a chambered cartridge. Or Condition 3, hammered down against the safety notch with a chambered cartridge. For many, Condition 3 is a common carry method. Now, let me move to my final thoughts regarding the Tisas Fatih 380. To have a Beretta Model 84 was a longing of mine, but I am satisfied with the Tisas Fatih 380, as it is about as close to the Model 84 as I think it could be. It does have some features that the Beretta 84 did not, such as more positive controls and a magazine pinky extension. It carries the Beretta Model 84 Cheetah tradition forward for us who favor large frame 380 auto pistols. For a compact pistol, the Fatih 380 generally delivers sufficient accuracy for personal defense distances. Most users report consistent groupings at 7 to 10 yards. While not a target pistol, its practical accuracy is more than adequate for its intended purpose. Let me list for you what I believe to be the pros and cons of the pistol. It has an affordable price point, offers significant value for an all-metal, reliable firearm. It has a proven design based on the highly regarded Beretta 84, which is known for reliability. It has manageable recoil. The weight and caliber combination makes for a comfortable shooting experience. It has good capacity. A 13 plus 1 round capacity is generous for a 380 auto pistol. It is of all-metal construction, which provides a durable feel and contributes to recoil absorption. Because of its size and weight, the Fatih is a joy to shoot. Reliability is excellent and should serve those well who would consider the Tisas Fatih 380 as a personal defense companion. And now for the cons. It is heavier than polymer options. Its all-metal frame makes it heavier for concealed carry compared to modern polymer pistols. It is bulkier for deep concealment. It's not as thin or small as some newer micro-compact 380s. It does have slightly dated aesthetics. While classic, some prefer the modern look of contemporary firearms. It does have limited aftermarket support. While holsters are generally available, other aftermarket parts might be less common than for mainstream brands. Well, alright, here I go again, closing yet another chapter in this firearm journey of mine. I hope that you enjoyed the presentation and will return for more of my firearm and firearm-related reviews. I sure enjoy the company. Until next time, stay healthy, stay vigilant, stay armed, and stay safe wherever your journeys take you.
Why was I dreaming about a new pistol? Gee. Thanks, Range Ronin.
It's been great catching up like this. Definitely, we have to do this more often, for sure.